holiday is observed on October 11th of this year. While all of us have not had the chance to come out in our lifetime because of our gender identity or sexual orientation, because it didn't really cause any need for such ceremony, I do feel as though there's something sacred that we can all learn from that experience. It is my hope today, above all else, to share with you all what coming out once did for me. Yes, there's a special kind of coming out for queer Americans exclusively that stays unique to that experience, for sure. But I feel that it is a form of spiritual growth, and any person's spiritual growth that happens anywhere or anytime can always have an effect that ripples out to everyone around them if we let it. Coming out means being honest as you can about who you are, entirely who you are, from this moment on in your life. It means being honest with the universe and your God. It means being honest with the people that you love. It means being honest with the world at large. And above all else, it means being honest with yourself. Let us be honest with ourselves today, and let us learn to love our truth when it comes time to tell it. Before we begin, I would just like to say a huge thank you to my worship associate, Melissa, without whom I could not have done today's service, and without whom help I couldn't have done it without a total breakdown. Many thanks to her today. And now here's Melissa with our chalice lighting.
Please rise in body and or spirit for the lighting of our chalice. These chalice lighting words are by Maureen Killeron. Love is the aspiration, the spirit that moves and inspires this faith we share. Rightly understood, love can nurture our spirits and transform the world. May the flame of this chalice honor and embody the power and the blessing of the love we need, the love we give, the love we are challenged always to remember and to share. And now let's recite our covenant in English and in Spanish. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to serve knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, thus do we covenant. La doctrina de esta iglesia es el amor, la búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento, y el servicio es su función. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar el conocimiento en la verdad, servir a la humanidad en comunión. Este es nuestro pacto. Please remain risen as we sing our opening hymn. It is 1029 in the teal hymnal if you want to look for it. It's Love Knocks and Waits for Us to Hear.
Love knocks and waits for us to hear, to open and invite. Love longs to quiet every fear and seeks to set things right. Love offers life in spite of foes who threaten and condemn. Embracing enemies, love goes the second mile with them. Love comes to heal the broken heart, to ease the troubled mind. Without a word, love is a start to ask and seek and find. Love knocks and enters at the sound of welcome from within. Love sings and dances all around, and feels of life begin.
Welcome. Good morning. Before we get started, I do want to remind everyone to please silence your phones. So we are very happy to have you here in person and online. Emerson Unitarian Universalist Church is named after the Unitarian minister, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and we are a diverse religious community that has been a part of the West Valley for over 65 years. I'm Melissa Marote, and my pronouns are she and her, and I'm honored to serve as your worship associate this morning. We welcome all of you to our service and hope that here at Emerson, you'll find a passion to create change and gain comfort through connection during our service today and during our coffee hour break rooms online, as well as after the service. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religion characterized by a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Unitarian Universalists assert no creed, but are unified by their shared search for spiritual growth, guided by a dynamic living tradition. We welcome all of you on this journey of spiritual growth. This morning, let us remember the land that we stand on is the traditional land of the Tongva, Kizh, Chumash, and Tataviam peoples, past and present. Let us honor the land itself and the people who have stewarded it across generations, that we might learn and become better stewards ourselves. Please sign our guest book so that you can get on our email list to get more information about upcoming events like a Halloween fundraiser and karaoke party nearby on October 28th, and to strengthen connections here. Also take a moment to write any joys or concerns in the link in the chat or in the Book of Life near the piano, and they will be shared later in the service. After our service today, we will have a climate justice workshop at noon, and we'd love to have you join us. Reverend Matthew McHale is not here today, but we have a guest speaker, Jeremy Pace. He serves as a worship associate like me, but today is worship leader. Jeremy lives in Winnetka, is a comedian, a writer, newly engaged, and is interested in becoming a minister. We are excited to hear your sermon today. Now let's take a few moments to greet our neighbors. Oh, I appreciate that.
Store apologies next time. Make sure my mom.
Yeah.
Also,
Now, are you still doing the YMI Blue or is
no,
that no? Okay.
I changed it twice.
That's okay, that's
But
okay.
I found a really great one. Natalie, sent me one because it was Wyman Blue, and then I had changed it, and then he still thought it was Wyman Blue, and we did that 2 weeks ago. I had no idea. So thank God he still thought it was that and told me to change it again, even though I guess I really didn't need to, because he sent me a mermaid story, and I love mermaids. Like, that's my whole thing. And it's about a little trans boy who wants to be a mermaid, but meaning is, gender fluid.
Oh man.
It's great.
If I had known that, I have a mermaid dress I could have worn today.
I know, I'm trying to like, but you know what I was thinking? What kind of match today?
Well, I was thinking, love,
Right. That's exactly what I thought too. We nailed it.
Hey, how you
Good
doing?
job. Very good.
Good.
Well, no, I've been doing this for years, and I still get so anxious.
Yeah, my hands. When I was lighting that, I was like,
I know it's really hard. So I mean,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, I told him I would look next time I go.
Yeah.
and then our affirmation.
Affirmation. And then after, so I'll do the affirmation, right? No? Okay.
Yeah.
And then after I do that, do I dismiss the children too?
No, we don't really have any. Yeah, you don't have to say anything.
Okay.
Right.
And then you'll come up with your sharing.
Yeah.
That's what I have written down. I was totally wrong. I thought that I was going to do the opening hymn and the covenant. So we're already doing great.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean,
I just figured it was already on.
yes, that's perfect. Yeah, absolutely. That was like a bonus. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna bring the whole thing.
Okay, perfect. Singing?
Yeah, just yeah, so that people know. You can do it. I usually do it. It's up to you.
Thank you. always feels so good when you can get that thing to ring, you know? Yeah. My hands are like shaking. I'm like, can I do it? All right. How good it is to be together. We have such a family here. All right. So, today's story for all ages. I just want to say, by the way, this was such a God-shot moment. I had to change it 3 times, and I was like in love with the first 2 stories, but this one came to me from Reverend Matthew, thank goodness. So today we have a story called Julian is a Mermaid. Today's story for all ages is near and dear to my heart. As you may have heard me say from up here before, or if I've talked to you at all, you know that this is true. I am obsessed with mermaids. Literally the last worship associate sermon I got to help with was the water communion, and I was dying. I was so excited. So when this Reverend Matthew sent me Julian as a mermaid, I was like, yeah, I'll take it, absolutely, 100%. I've always been obsessed with mermaids since I was a little child. And while this story of a brave little boy being himself and finding his calling is one of a few words, I'll warn you, the artwork is incredible, and the words say more than enough about what it is to live your truth. Please enjoy this reading of Julian is a Mermaid by Jessica Love.
Welcome to Learn Conmigo. This read aloud is Julian is a Mermaid by Jessica Love. This is a boy named Julian. And this is his abuela. And those are some mermaids. Julian loves mermaids. Vámonos, mijo. This is our stop. Abuela, did you see the mermaids? I saw them, hijo. Abuela, I am also a mermaid. I'm going to take a bath. You be good. Julian has a good idea. Oh, Oh. Come here, mi hijo. For me, abuela? For you, Julian. Where are we going? You'll see, says abuela. Mermaids, whispered Julian. Like you, mijo. Let's join them. And they do.
What an incredible little story that was. I love that so much. Sometimes it's just kismet how things come to you. The first two stories I will tell you were great, but we had actually come to find out already done them. I had no idea. And so I'm really glad that I chose repeat stories and was led to Julian. I've been led to mermaids many times in my life. So much was packed into the pictures and, oh, yeah, I'm gonna do that right after this. Yeah. Yes, it's okay. So much was packed into the pictures and the telling of this child's perfect day about being themselves. And let me tell you, I was there once. That was absolutely me as a little kid. I'm telling you, the same bed sheet around the feet and everything. And while in general it warms my heart to see such a well-received coming out for Julian, despite how dangerous that process can feel and be, I want to point out how well it worked for him. I'm not going to pretend every coming out story ends this way, but today I want to celebrate declaring the truth about yourself as much as I can. And it wasn't lost on me that if little Julian had not taken the chance to be himself that day, that there was a whole parade full of his people that he might have missed out on. He felt love from his grandmother and went with it. And in the end, that fin was just flawless. There are many options for what happens when we live in our truths, and it can go many ways. But one of those options that I refuse to ever gloss over is this one: it goes well. We are met with love, and we truly begin life as we are. And now, if you all would join me in our Unitarian Universalist affirmation by both reciting the words and also doing the hand gestures with some jazz and some spunk in honor of that mermaid parade. We will join together now in saying those words. We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and welcome hands.
This congregation is a theologically diverse religious community with membership open to all who are in accordance with our principles, mission, and vision. We are a welcoming congregation to people of all sexual orientations, and we unconditionally welcome any and all of you to our community of mutual caring and serious intent to grow as spiritual and moral beings. Our congregation is entirely self-governed by a democratic process. One of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide all of the financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of our spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and institutional well-being. You are now invited to participate in the blessing of giving as the ushers come among you to accept the gifts of the congregation. You can also donate through the Breeze app. And as a part of our commitment to serve our community, we share half of our offering with local organizations whose work furthers our mission. And this time it's going to be to a local Native American organization. So thank you so very much for your generosity.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
So today's prayer meditation is one from the queer community, but again, it is one that I hope is meant to echo, is one that is meant to echo a hope and vision for all people, acceptance upon honesty. I have hope and acceptance. I have faith that the right people will love you no matter what when you tell them just who you are. This is The Rainbow Blessing by Cricket Hall. May the drag stage rise to greet you. May the world rise to accept and embrace you. May the rainbow of love enfold you. May your fluidity never be hindered. May your pronouns always be supported, and may your dead name be forgotten. May you invite into your life, may those who you invite into your life remain loyal. May your chosen family lift you up and catch you when you need it. May you be able to catch others when they need it. May you remember sensitivity is not weakness, and instead a great strength welling up inside of you. Until we meet again, may you remember that you are loved and you are divine. I now invite you to sit in a neutral position as best you can. Feel your feet grounding you. Rest your eyes if it can make your connection stronger. Take a few cleansing breaths on purpose. Think about your peace. And as I read the singing bowl, I'd like for you to say aloud, as loudly as you'd like, the name of who or what is on your mind today, while we think of acceptance and love for our true selves. Echo the names of any loved ones who could use our healing energy. Allow this community to hold your burdens and blessings with you. I will now read aloud the writings in our Book of Life, followed by any writings in our virtual Book of Life on Zoom. David Early writes, sending thoughts of comfort and support to the people of Israel as they endure an unprovoked attack. Eloise Porter writes, please keep my housemate Terry Gilmore in your thoughts and prayers as she goes in for lower back surgery Tuesday morning. On our virtual Book of Life, we have a joy visited by the Kurvingu, excuse me if I pronounce that wrong, Springs Village here in Los Angeles yesterday during the monthly open house, and learn more about the local Tongva tribe history and opportunities to volunteer and build a relationship with their beautiful site with its sacred spring. And then Nicole has another joy, I love that. We had a week-long visit from a lifetime friends in the Bay Area. They came to help us move a shed, fix a support under the house, rebuild a work table, and cook for us all week. What a wonderful week of reconnecting, building together, and talking story. And I just want to say I'm open to new friends. They sound fantastic. I love that. Any friend with a truck. And now we have a wonderful treat for us today. The choir, led by Eloise Porter, will be singing for us a perfect song for this sermon. The choir will now perform Love is Love by Matthew Armstrong. choir season sometimes and choir not, but there was a while when there wasn't, and I missed it so much. So beautiful. Great job, thank you. All right. So now I get a chance to talk to you all today. When I came out of the closet at 14 years old in 2001, I was sick and tired of it all. It wasn't a celebration for me. I had simply had enough of the secrets. Queer people have a pretty unique experience to our stories, usually, in which we spend the years that other people are normally dreaming about what they want to be when they grow up, instead forming a deep and powerful relationship with secrets. We know secrets. I can tell you firsthand, better than a lot of people, just how it feels to hold on to something about yourself that you don't want anyone else to know, or else you might die. But as I said, I don't want to spend today just talking about being a queer person, because my sermon to you today is about accepting yourself as you are, no matter who you are. But I will tell you a bit of my story as a queer person to qualify as to why I might be able to speak to that. I feel it might sound boastful, but just the same, I'll tell you, I am an authority on secret keeping. On top of coming out when I was 14, I would later have to come out at 22 as a person who was living with HIV. That was a secret. I had to get it off my chest. And then I had to come out at 23 as a recovering drug addict. And that was something that was also a coming out process for me. I have made a life out of being honest when it's scary. And it is scary. It's very that. But I wouldn't take back my honesty for anything in the world. It was always worth it. I have never once regretted coming out about anything. And my life has only ever been made better as a result of speaking my truth. We all have secrets. And as I said before, maybe those secrets are just things that you'd rather not face, but they don't warrant the process of a big to-do or an announcement. Maybe you don't really need to come out. But if you need to be honest, even in a small, quiet way, I'd recommend it, even if I can't promise you for sure how it turned out. There are so many parts to facing ourselves that exist with their own freedoms and dangers that are attached to them. But what helps in my experience is to practice this saying that I call telling the truth and all the truths around the truth. I say that all the time. You can ask Lucas. I constantly say it. The truth and all the truths around the truth. So there's the truth itself. It's bold. It stands alone. It can shake the room. But then there are all the truths around the truth as well. And they can come before or after your declaration, but they ought to be spoken just the same. An example is, I'm really afraid to tell you this. Or, I'm afraid telling you this is going to impact our relationship in a way that hurts me, but I cannot keep limiting how close we are because I'm not being honest with you. Those are also just as true as what you're about to say, and those are the truths around the truth. Say them all. There are many truths to be said when you gear up for your unveiling of what is inside. There's also taking into consideration who your truth needs to be said to, and there are a couple versions of that, as I mentioned before. For starters, and perhaps above all else, there's a need to be honest and speak your truth, and all of those truths, to whatever it is that you look up to out there. Whatever god or goddess, whatever force of nature or star in the sky that you send your prayers to, is one that I assume, hopefully, must be on your side. If you're at a point where your relationship with this higher power out there is listening when you pray and it's seeing you when you thrive, then it stands to reason that that force of yours wants to know you. You may think that that force knows you already. declare something to your God in an act of sometimes gut-wrenching courage. There is no hiding in a moment like that. The first thing I came out to was God, and I cried. And then I told God why I was crying. And then I told God that I didn't want to cry anymore. And it felt like that secret of mine weighed at least half as much by the time that my prayer was over. Being bold enough to think that I could hide myself in any way from the cosmos was not only foolish, but it was also exhausting. Coming out to the universe was a huge first step for me. And then coming down on a slightly smaller scale, we can look at coming out to society as a whole. Living our truths within the world at large is oftentimes a style of living more than a conversation that you have with strangers. When I came out, I declared that there would be no more aspects of myself that I wished to keep a secret. If I wanted to hold a man's hand, I would. If I wanted to skip instead of walk, then I would. When I came out as an addict, I stopped worrying about if someone seeing me leaving a 12-step meeting was taboo or not. I stopped worrying about saying no to drinks that were offered to me at a party. Now, I didn't tell each and every person, "Hi there, I'm gay," or "Want to guess what drugs I used to do? Just guess, just guess, just guess." But instead, it was an attitude. It was an openness. And in this case, more of those truths around the truth came out because I started to see that accepting the bigger parts of who I was actually came with a million little parts to my day that were affected by my honesty. It changed the way I walked. It changed the way I said hello to people on the street. It changed the music I listened to. Hello, Kylie Minogue. It changed everything to live my truth in public. And I pray, my prayer for you is that you get so honest with yourself that you find that it affects your daily life. That is a miracle when that happens. That's a lifestyle change, and it's a lift. Now, coming in a little bit closer, there's being honest with your own personal people. This is maybe the most scary of them all. And again, I will not ignore the fact that coming out about who you are in any capacity can be terrible for many people. There were times when it was awful for me. There are times when it has ended in homelessness and fatality for many people around the world, and I won't deny that fact out of pure blind optimism, but I also will not let that fear hold me back from the truth, not ever. It took courage to come out in 2001 in Missouri, of all places. Oh, let me tell you, the boot heel. And it would have been nice if it didn't take so much courage. And I'm happy to see that the world is a more understanding place for all kinds of people now. But that fear was a huge part of the payoff. The danger is what maybe taught me the most. Now, I'm not encouraging anyone to put themselves in any physical danger, but within the confines of safety, I would say that I encourage truth when it makes you shake for certain. After the smoke cleared and my family either surrounded me with love and support or they got that little homophobic hissy fit out of their system, whatever, I was able to look at myself with such pride. Because look at what I just did. I protected my identity. I stood my ground. I told them I was a mermaid, even if it meant I could have gotten yelled at because I'm a mermaid. I wouldn't lie about that anymore. And it made me love being a mermaid so much more. And sometimes it goes well. My entire family eventually came around. They look forward to officially welcoming Lucas as their brother-in-law and their son-in-law this December. They show their friends our picture. It can go well. And in the end, it goes as well as it was ever meant to be, because we are meant to be ourselves. Now, maybe it would have been easier to never come out, some might wonder, but the best that I could have ever hoped for was to try and be happy lying to the people that I love. Personally, I would rather know the discomfort of a relationship ending one time than the everyday pain of a fake relationship that goes on for a lifetime. Your people are your people for a reason. It was one of my favorite actors, Harvey Guillen, who recently, just now, in an interview said, you do not come out. People do not come out. People do not come out. They let you in. I love that. I've never heard it that way before. It's not a coming out process, it's a letting in process. I couldn't agree more when it comes to sharing with who you are with your people. Let them in. They deserve you as you are, and so do you. Which brings me to the final and most poignant of all coming out moments, being honest with yourself. You. I imagine all of us know what it is to be lying to ourselves at some point. Years before I came out as gay, and certainly years before I told my loved ones I was an addict, I was in deep denial to myself, above all else. I had carved out dark corners in my brain, and I stored my difficult truths there. I didn't want to look at them or think about them. No, thank you. And I'll tell you this, the space that it took to hide myself in those spots had to keep growing because, again, there's the truth and there's all the truths around the truth. So, for instance, not only did I pretend I wasn't gay to my own self, but I would pass by a limited edition mermaid Barbie doll in the store and say, nope, and just keep walking. And into that dark space it went, and that dark space grew. And it certainly took a toll on me. My body would get sick. My brain formed a foundation of anxiety that I still work to this day on dismantling. And my spirit cried even when I smiled. Christmas itself was tainted with pain, and I love Christmas. But as I got a baseball from Santa, and I watched my sister unwrap that doll with the long purple fin, I died inside. Oh my God. Lying to yourself holds you back. It questions the idea of your story entirely. Are we really even living at all? Because truly living requires that your story be your own. Holding a lie turns a lifetime into a performance and nothing more. And we all deserve to be more than just actors in our own lives. Being honest with yourself is, in my opinion, the most outrageous act of self-love that there is. What is inside of you that needs honesty isn't always good or bad. Now, this might be a little confusing because I'm celebrating coming out for two things. You know, I'm gay, yay, and I also came out as an addict, which is, you know. But that yay or that isn't something that you can have any real grasp of until you shine light on it. There's really no need to even assign such judgments to our truths anyway, because nothing comes from that. But I will say this, whether or not you like yourself or you want to change yourself cannot be determined until you first admit whatever it is to begin with. When I came out as gay, to be honest with you, I was open to the idea of not being too gay. Yeah. I was mostly proud with a side of concern. I thought that maybe it was still a bit of a problem. And then coming out showed me that absolutely no, I am not going to tone it down. No, and now today I am dressed like this, giving this sermon, so boy, have we come a long way. Okay? And yet, on the other side was me coming out as an addict, which I was sure was all bad. Oh my goodness. Coming out and coming clean was all shame and all guilt. I will say, with a tinge of pride, only because I was being honest. So I was a little proud of that, right? So that's sort of on the other side. It was the opposite of coming out as gay. And I'll tell you, it was shocking to me how wrong I was about that too. Simply coming out and learning how to live as a healthy, sober person took all of that shame away. And that shame is what was literally killing me for years. It was like a snake that was eating itself. The shame was causing the addiction, and the addiction was causing the shame over and over again. Actually, when I came out, I found a great deal of pride in my identity. Because I learned actually that most addicts are simply naturally spiritual people who have just lost their path entirely. How wonderful to find out that I'm genetically predisposed to be a reverend. Fantastic. Fantastic. My point is that whether the truth you're holding on to has any chance of being good or being bad is something that you can never really know or understand unless and until you shine some light on it. And at the end of the day, I believe we are tribal. We need to share ourselves with our loved ones. And we, at least here, on some level, are believers. And so I think we need to bear our souls with courage. And we are beautiful. We are works in progress. And we are lovable as we are. All right. Oh, you know what? We skipped the sung meditation. Do you think? Hey, you know what? A new mistake I make is gonna be on purpose. So I wanted to mix it up. This is gonna be remix. Let's go ahead now, if you don't mind, and we'll do the sung meditation now. I got it from my friend who's a minister in D.C. She sent it. So sorry, we're gonna head back now and do that. All right. So if you'll join me in our sung meditation, this is one of my absolute favorites. She sent this to me. I love this so much. We can stay seated for this if you wanted. Lend your voices, please, to How Could Anyone Ever Tell You, number 1053 in your hymnal.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. Let's do it one more time. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
I love that. How could anyone ever tell you? And again, I went back and forth with whether or not it's cultural appropriation to try and share coming out with people who might not identify as queer. But it is my goal today to share with you everything that I learned. And that sung meditation is perfectly what I learned. How could anyone ever tell you, no matter what it is that you need to be honest with yourself about, that you are not doing exactly what you ought to be doing, that you are not growing exactly as you ought to be growing, that you are not made perfectly in some image. What an audacious song. All right, so because of the remix, we're gonna follow that song with another song. Let's go ahead and stand up for this one. Rise in body and spirit if you can. All right, and we're going to lend our voices now to Standing on the Side of Love. It's number 1014 in your hymnal. Thank you.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are standing on the side of love, hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we share to proclaim we are standing on the side of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. are standing on the side of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are standing on the side of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Caressers of praise in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are standing on the side of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are standing on the side of love. We are standing on the side of love.
I like that. I'm going to suggest that for every week, just back-to-back music. We'll just sing the whole time. And now you may be seated. Oh, that felt power. Wow, that's great. Take a load off. As we extinguish our chalice today, let me thank you all once again for allowing me this absolute honor of being guest speaker today. I would like to offer you a prayer, actually, for the extinguishing of the chalice. I'm going to offer you one that I wrote. When I was getting sober, I was asked to write a prayer for myself, just my own little prayer that showed what it was that I wanted to work on the most with my God. And it became clear to me through all of the work that I did to get myself together and get a connection with the power greater than myself, that what I wanted most was to be known and to continue to grow. And so here, you can take this if you want. It's really easy to remember. Here's a nice little prayer in case you ever are in a jam and you need to pray your way out. It's pretty simple. It is simply this: higher power, know me, slowly show me growing. Yeah? It's available on cards if you want. You can take it with you. I offer you all this Sunday a chance to come out in whatever way fits you the best. I offer you with an open heart the safest of spaces to admit and acknowledge who you are entirely. I pray that you may know yourself. I pray that you may be known. I pray that so much light fills your life, there isn't anywhere really for a secret to hide. And I pray that that is a good thing. May you be protected from the hurt of rejection, and may you thrive in knowing that somewhere in this world is a whole tribe of people just like you who are waiting to accept you with open minds, loving hearts, and welcome hands. Blessed be. Amen. Ashe.